Hi everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create, and today we are going to continue working on the Ciao Bella Greatest Show, and I've completed the 4 pocket pages that are going to go inside the album, and so now I'm ready to start decorating the outside of the album. And as you can see, I don't have the pages in yet. I'm going to go ahead and add the cover to the album, so I'm going to decorate the spine and the cover. Then I'm going to come back and insert the pages, and at the very end I'm going to add the embellishments, so after I've added the insert. So right now I'm just going to do the flat portions of the outside cover, and so I've selected this diamond pattern to go around the spine, and I'm going to wrap my spine. So this measures 7 3/4 by 7 7/8. 7 3/4 by 7 7/8. And it's basically scored at 2.5 inches, and there's 2.5 inches to cover the spine and an additional 2.5 inches, and it's a little bit bigger than that. So what I would recommend is once you cut your 7 3/4 inch piece, roughly wrap it around the spine and create kind of a crease, and then come back and crease it a little bit more on your scoreboard. And then on the back, I've pretty much covered the whole thing with adhesive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the adhesive from the center part and leave some of these ends covered so they don't grab before I'm ready. And then I'm going to put down the back part first, and then I'll come back and start peeling off some of the other pieces and laying it over the front. Okay, so with that, I'm going to sit down and get some of the tape backing off so we can get this going. And I just noticed I have not inked it, so I'll be right back. All right, I had to run off and get my ink pad. We'll knock just the white core off the edge. So I have to tell you a funny story. So I had originally designed the cover, and I like to do that pretty early on, at least a rough design, because this is a rather large space to cover. It's 8.5 by 10.5. The outside album is a little bit bigger than the pocket page, so I like to reserve those papers early on. Well, when I went to sit down and start working on the cover today, I realized I had somehow repurposed one of my sheets. So originally it was going to be the diamond pattern wrapped around the spine, and then I was going to use red stripes across the rest, this stripe pattern, and somehow I accidentally used that somewhere inside the book, so I had to rethink my cover. I did come up with something that I like. Unfortunately, I don't like it quite as much as I liked the red stripe, so just FYI, you might want to consider that when you're making your albums. You want to pre-cut some of your covers and then set them aside so that you don't accidentally repurpose them like I did. But it happens. I'm just running a little bit of glue over this, so I have a little bit of time to work this before I'm completely committed. I find that wrapping the spine is a little bit tricky, trying to get the margins clear on both sides. And this is going to be very fussy, and I may be in and out of screen, but or frame, but it's like I said, it's kind of fussy, so it's hard not to do that. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to burnish this in place. Okay, now as I go to apply the rest of this wrap onto the cover in the back, I don't want my cover closed and I don't want it completely open. I want it somewhere in between, like right about there. So I'm going to start stripping off the back of the tape and pressing into place the rest of this wrap. Okay, so I've taken 2 of the backings off. Okay, so moving right along, I'm going to continue. I'm going to go to the other side, remove 2 pieces and press along, and then I'm going to rotate back and forth until I'm completely finished. Okay, keep on going, couple more, we're almost there. Okay. All right, there it is. So that side's finished. Take these last couple of strips off this side and then I'll burnish everything in place after I'm done. Okay. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, we're just about done. Okay, so that's in. So the next piece is going to be this star, and like I said, I had originally planned stripes, but somehow I cut through that. So this is going to be the piece that goes here. And I'm gonna dry fit it, and I just want a nice slim black line between the two. I'm gonna shift it so I can see all my edges. And it looks like I don't need to trim it. It looks like I'm okay. So just for reference, this piece is 8 by 8 3/8. 8 by 8 3/8. And 8 3/8 is the height. Okay, I'm gonna get my ink on it. I think I like it this way with the darker part toward the spine. Okay, I'm gonna check it. It looks good. Okay, I'm gonna get some glue on this and we'll get this in place. Okay, now we're gonna do the back side. So on the back side, I was running out of papers. So I'm going to piece these together and run them across the edge of the book here. So I'm trying to decide. I actually think I'm going to do, these are just taped together temporarily. I think this will work. Just these 3 pieces. I'm thinking about it right now. So yeah, I think that's what I like. So I'm going to piece these together, and then while they're taped together, temporarily taped together, I'm going to get the height of the paper done so that they're all the same height. And I'm measuring off the spine because I want them to be the same height, and they are. So it looks like I just need to trim one of these panels down a little bit. So here's what my plan is. I'm going to lay down the outside strip and then start laying down the center strips and trim one of these 2 down to the right side. So I'm going to start by laying the outside strip. And again, this temporary tape is really just to hold them together to make sure that they're all trimmed out to the same height. Okay, so the next piece is going to be the diamond. I had two pieces, so I was just checking to see which one I was going to use. Okay, so I think I need to use this one. It's going to go like so. So this piece is 2.5 inches wide. This piece is 2.5 inches wide, and this is going to get trimmed down to fit whatever remains. And there's no magic, it's whatever looks appealing to you. If you wind up using a different pattern, the distribution may look better a different way. Or you may just use a solid piece. If I had more paper, I wouldn't do as much of color blocking on the outside. But I only have a couple pieces of 12 by 12, and I didn't like the patterns that I had remaining, at least not as a feature page. Okay, here's our last piece. So I'm going to need my pencil, and we're going to lay this in and decide where to trim it. I'm going to mark the top and bottom just in case it's not completely straight. And then I'm going to back off 1/8 inch. Okay, so I've pressed it completely against this panel, and then I'm marking it right here. And then I know if I want to show a little bit of black on each side, I need to back off 1/8 of an inch, and I'll have a 1/16 inch on each side. So that's what I just marked for. Now I'm going to let's see how this looks. I think this is it, but we might need to take a little more off. Yeah, looks like it. Okay, a little more. Okay, and that's it. So I'm going to ink these edges and lay it down. And this piece, just so you know, wound up being just slightly over 2 3/4, a little bit bigger than that. But you're really going to need to fit each piece individually to get a good look. Okay, once I get this last piece in, we're gonna turn the book over, get the orientation correct, and then we're gonna insert the pocket pages. And then we'll come back and decorate the outside, which I will show you. I did something pretty simple. Okay, so that's the back, And I may add something to it, but I'm not at the moment. So we're ready. This is our front cover. And here are our pages. I'm going to put the cap on my glue because I think I'm done with that for now. All right, so this is page 1. So it's going to go right here. So I like to start by taking off just one corner and then slipping my page on and then kind of using that as a pivot point. Okay, I'm going to lay it completely over on its side, and what I'm looking for is equal distance top to bottom, and if it's not equal, sort of working it until it looks level like it does now. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull out my tape. Or try to. Okay, double check again before I press it into place. It looks good. Okay, so that's in. Okay, now we're ready for page 2. And we're just going to do this a couple more times. There we go. Okay. Okay, everything's coming together pretty good. We're almost done. Okay, so that looks nice. Everything looks lined up both ways. Beautiful. Burnish this in place real quick. Okay, looks great. Okay, so that is all the pocket pages on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm doing for the outside. I'm probably going to continue to embellish offline before the walkthrough, but I'm going to give you the big design elements. So here I've just simply cut out one of the 12 by 12s had this equilibriist over on one side, and it's just, if you look behind it, it's just simple pattern. There's no element like here. This is one of the cut apart cards. So I cut apart it and layered piece of chipboard on the back, and then I put it on top of this cutout. So this is 5.5 by 6.5, and it could be any size depending on what you decide to do here. I just thought that size looked good with this designer card. So I'm going to layer it on just like so. And then out of the collection, I fussy cut some and backed with cardstock some of these labels. And then these balloons, I think the balloons are planned for here. I'm going to put a balloon here. And I'm going to put circus somewhere. I haven't decided. Maybe up here, like so. So it's going to get arranged pretty much like that. And then I had two small tags that I've cut apart, and I'm missing the other one. So there's another little green tag like that that's going to get layered on here too. So this is pretty much what it's going to look like when I'm finished. And because it says the same thing on top and bottom, that's why I chose to put the spectacular down here. But that's roughly what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go offline and glue all these things down, and then I'll cover, you know, each one of the little elements in the walkthrough in detail. And then I may have added some additional embellishments to the inside, and I'll cover those as part of the walkthrough too. So that is the end of the album. The last part will be the walkthrough, which time I'll cover all the rest of the details. Thanks.